Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14, presented by Bearded Iris. We're here to talk about Arkansas's win in the NCAA tournament over Illinois. Blake, a game where Arkansas looked pretty good for the most part. I thought the defense was fantastic today. A little bit of a lapse maybe in the last few minutes before Arkansas kind of figured it out and got it together down the stretch. But if you're Eric Musselman and the Razorbacks, you got to be very pleased with a 10-point win over an erratic but very talented Illinois team.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it does.
I mean, that's what I said. They're the same team in many, scenarios you kind of bring up. Like that's what we talked about in the preview. Like they felt like the same team, where talented players on both sides just were very inconsistent throughout the year and don't really meet expectations. And but yeah, I mean, give Arkansas credit. I mean, they were up 17 in this game, and obviously down the stretch it got a little bit closer than that. But I was pretty pleased for the most part. I mean, I think for Arkansas, it's always important. Like when they start strong, usually that carries some weight. That can, just for this team in particular, I think that's always crucial. Which you could say that about any team in any game. I understand, but I think for this team, just a strong start where you're not having to play from behind, right? Because if you're playing from behind, I think Arkansas has to do things they don't need to do. And you know what I'm talking about. Like if you're playing from behind, you have to shoot more jump shots, or you have to try to, force more threes, or to play catch up. Like I just think not putting themselves in that position, which will be important in the next game. But we'll get to that in the video we do tomorrow. But they only had to take 11 threes. That they didn't get happy on the 3-point line. That's great. And everyone knows how I feel about that if you watched our videos before. That's great for them. They shouldn't take more than 11 threes in a game. Like that's a great number. But they got to the free throw line. I talked about that everywhere. Anybody I talked to about this Arkansas Illinois game, I said the one thing they need to find a way to get to the free throw line, because that is their strength. They need to be in attack mode, get to the free throw line, win it with guard play, because we always say, Chris, what gets you far in March? It's great to have a nice big man. Not going to knock any teams with nice big men, but guard play. Guard play matters. And you can't tell me Arkansas does not have a roster of guards that cannot, get them far in this tournament. And that's why I think you're going to be optimistic now about them going into this next matchup, is because they have the guards. And we saw that in this game. Wasn't always pretty. Like you said, there were some spots that didn't look great, but they win this game with Council making some big plays. Obviously got to the free throw line a lot. Davis, made some big plays, I thought. A couple, important steals in the right spot at the right time. Anthony Black made some shots. So yeah, I mean, it's just that's what it comes down to. And I think the more games these guys play together now with Nick Smith in the lineup, the better it can be, because you're just building that chemistry too.
Yeah, two things. You mentioned not having to get three happy. Game flow was a big deal here. I think Illinois led the first 3 minutes, and I think Arkansas led the other 37. And you mentioned Davis. I think I'm trying to find it on the play-by-play, but okay, here it is, 144 left. Illinois got the ball down 5. Field goal there makes it really interesting. He picks somebody's pocket, leads to a Council layup on the other end, and right then and there, that was probably the ball game.
Yeah. I mean, it's those kind of plays, right? It's just, I think you just expect that, because especially with Davis, he's been here before, right? He's been in these spots with these teams that have made the runs under Muss, and I think just having him is invaluable right now. And I know he turned the ball over a couple times, but like, it is what it is. I mean, in this kind of game and NCAA tournament, it's going to happen. But yet he made up for it with some big plays, and we talked about that all season. The attention is going to be on the guys that are future, probably lottery picks in the NBA, and Anthony Black and Nick Smith. But I mean, Davis is like he's the heart and soul of the team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So just the success he's had there, and again, he's played a real big part in that. So yeah, I thought it was a nice win. Of course, I think it was, I don't know who was on the call. Was Jim Jackson? I don't remember. They all the games blurred together today, but he pointed out,
yeah, it was Jim Jackson was the
well, he pointed out, he's like, sometimes you just take it however you can get it. And Arkansas had 4 assists on 24 made field goals. It's like, have a lot of assists. That's okay though, But I mean, hey, you take the points however you can get them, and if there's a team that can get by with only having 4 assists on 24 made field goals, it's a team like this that's very talented in those one-on-one type situations. And again, too, they shot a lot of free throws. I think you have to keep that in perspective. But so yeah, I think a nice win for not just a nice win for Arkansas. I think it was a nice win in terms of seeing their mindset in this game. And I think you saw a much more confident team that came out, didn't mess around, took care of their business early. Obviously, it got a little bit closer late, but that's what you want to see from this team. And yeah, I was pretty impressed just by just their approach and their mindset in this game.
Yeah, Brad Underwood, and I think the first media thing where they do the in-game interviews talked about Illinois having missed, I think, 5 layups at that point. Just Arkansas made nothing easy for them all day. It also helped that Matt Meyer can't throw it in the ocean right now, who's a kid who can just bury you from 3. He's 1 for his last 20-something at this point. Those were 2 things that stood out. The other thing, Nick Smith Jr. gets pulled late. Was he the guy that threw the alley-oop on the dunk that Council missed late? Or I don't know if it was a missed dunk or turnover, how they scored it, but that was kind of interesting. He sat down a little bit late in the game.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't remember the exact sequence either, but look, I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, again, I think you roll with what you think's working at the time, and at the time down there, that's what they felt like was working the best. And so, I mean, look, we've always said too. I get it. It's difficult just to completely insert a player into playing that many minutes this late in the season and expect everything just to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect all the time. But you know, obviously he gives you some things that you were lacking without him. And I think that's always important to remember. He may have some stretches where, you know what, Chris, he may have some stretches where he looks like a freshman because he is a freshman. And that stuff's just going to happen. But I think at the end of the day, though, he's going to play valuable minutes and he's going to give them things again that they did not have without him. And so, it's just, it is what it is. I think at this point, you are still talking about a guy that's played a little over how many games this season? 10, something like that. So yeah, I mean, Muss went to where he needed to go to finish off the game. And I don't know that I would read too much more into it other than that. But yeah, so I mean, nice win for the Hogs. The Muss bus back up and rolling right along in March. And what do you know? Now a showdown with the defending national champion. I don't know, Chris. Maybe you can recall Arkansas's had some success against a number 1 seed in recent years. I could be wrong about that.
Yes.
But
ask the Zags about that. Our colleague Blaine Gilmer's favorite team.
Yeah.
I
Was
don't
he
know.
going to come on and talk about that game or what?
He was tweeting some salty stuff today.
Well, I do have his Zags. I think I have them winning that region. I could be wrong, but
yeah,
we could get the rematch though. We could get the Hogs and the Zags again. I'm not against it. So, yeah.
Well, Kansas was without Bill Self today. I don't know if Kansas will have Bill Self against Arkansas or not. I didn't hear an update or if there was an update on that, but just something to note. Of course, we'll preview that game. Probably Saturday morning is when we'll have that up, or Friday morning?
No, it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be on Friday. We need to give
we're
a little
doing
time.
this Thursday after the game. So, yeah. So there's that. But anyway, any parting thoughts on Arkansas's win over Illinois today?
No, like I said, I was impressed. I thought just seeing how they once again handled their business. That was what you want to see. You want to see them look like the team that we all knew they could be. And you got more of that today. And they leaned into their strengths. And anybody who listens to me knows I always beat that horse. Like that is just lean into what you do best. Don't be something you're not. And that's what the best teams in the SEC, the best teams in the country do. They lean into their strengths, and I thought Arkansas did that today in this game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the matchup with Kansas, and we will preview it in a separate video. We'll have previews for all the SEC teams that will be in the round of 32, which thus far, Chris, that's a positive trend at the moment. We know right now Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, all on to the round of 32. So we'll see how many others perhaps join them with the remaining games to go. Auburn, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Kentucky. So, we'll have it all covered here. So hit that subscribe button. And, we'll preview Arkansas, Kansas on Friday.
The Must Bus drives on to the round of 32, and we'll be here to follow it, however far it goes. Let's hope for no flat tires against the Jayhawks. Don't want that. It's fun when Arkansas
I see what you
plays
did there.
well.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much to our sponsor, Bearded Iris. He's Blake Lovell. I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14. We'll see you again with more SEC Hoops content.